To my younger self.
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 To my younger self. To my younger self. What's your story?
To my younger self. What's your story?
Well, hello there and good morning. Good morning. How is everybody doing? My name is ZoeBaraka. Of course, it is very good to see you. Today is Tuesday, November 15th. My goodness. Who would have thought God would bring us this far? But He has. And we are very grateful to be alive. We're very grateful to be here to be able to tell stories. My name is ZoeBaraka. Today, I am flying solo. Alrighty, listen, if you can't do anything else, no matter how upset you are, no matter what's going on in life, you just have to learn how to smile through it. Good morning, Dr. Viv. It is so good to see you. How is Florida? I know it's been raging, a lot of wind and some rains. I hope you guys are doing well and kind of just keeping well. Greet me in your local dialect. I want to hear from you, especially if you're, in the African continent or on the African continent. No matter where you live, as long as you know how to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night in some local dialect in Africa, I want to hear from you. Please put it in the comment section. And when you do join us, as I've seen a few people have joined us, please, please, please say good morning to me so I can say good morning to you. Baraka dazwa to you, Sanunku dazwa yayade. Kakwana lafia. I hope you slept well. It is good to see you. Ya ken ken tuma tuma otutuoma to you. I have just greeted you in Hausa and in Kasal, and I've just zipped over to Nigeria and greeted you in the Igbo language when I said Otutuoma to you. I'm kind of a little over the place today, but hey, that's what storytellers do sometimes, right? Indina to you, I hope you're doing well. Etiseng, Akwa Baohun Teden. I greeted you in the Ewe language and of course also in the Akan dialect, a couple of Akan dialects really, the Chi, the Fanti, Achim, I've just greeted you in all of that. Ibella to you, Ibiora Kibari to you. If you speak Moshi or Maori or Morga, I have just greeted you in that. Also, Sawubonani to you. If you speak Zulu, it is great to see you. OJ Ko to you. If you speak Ga, thank you so much for joining us. Ekaro to you. Ekabo to all of our Yoruba speaking friends. Nagadef to you. To our Senegalese friends. Thank you always for joining us. Habari Gani, Habari Yao Subwe to you, to all of our Swahili speaking friends. Inyase Aloy, Domilaki, I hope you slept well. It is good to see you. What is Dr. Viv saying? Let's see what she's saying here. The today it's kind of lagging, so please do forgive me. Chai can't write to Nte in Eve. I hope I said I really hope I said that right. Okay. Beverly Ross, I see you. Thank you for joining us. Good morning. Good morning to you. Please let me know if the internet is a little off today. I feel like there's a lag in there and I cannot necessarily tell. Kotoli to you, if you speak Fulani or you are Fofoli, I greet you. I greet you. Thank you so much for joining us. Bon dia, bonjour, buongiorno. Of course, buenos dias, imaraba to you. And of course, to San Yusi Okubalaba to you. I've greeted you in so many different languages from different parts of Africa. I greeted you in Luganda. For those of you who are in Uganda, I greeted you in Portuguese. I greeted you in French. Listen, we are an international platform, okay, especially from the African continent. So yay. So we all know that in recent times, a couple of films have come out, and they've kind of gone into the African continent. It sounds to me as though maybe there's no more stories to be told on some continents. And so now we got to dig deep and go back into the African continent and kind of tell stories from there. And that's where we get Black Panther. That's where we get Woman King and a couple of other movies that are coming out in the box office, big box office out of Hollywood. And today, I thought we would do something different. Even though this platform is for telling personal stories, I wanted us to dig a little deeper and tell some stories about people who have been in Africa and in time past have gone on. People who've impacted Africa in incredible ways. It just turns out that most of the people that I researched on happen to be women. So I've decided to entitle today's show Her Story. It is not feminist. It's not stemming from a feminist point of view, as in whatever men can do, women can do better. No, I don't think so. I am proudly not a feminist in that way. I think that we are all equipped as men and women to play very distinctive roles. Some of them merge and some of them do not. So these stories, though I've picked them out, and they mostly are stories about women, it is not feminist. We are a platform that includes both male and female genders, okay? And if you have any stories that you want us to talk about, you can put it in the comment section. I really do want to hear from you. So please do me a favor. Get into the comment section and tell me about some of the stories. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the Agodjie, right? We've all, seen Woman King. In fact, Black Panther also takes a little bit of their story, because all the women warriors you see on Black Panther are supposedly the Agodjie warriors, okay? And so I'm going to read a little bit about them. Recently, Benin actually put up a 98 feet statue of a particular woman who the Agodjie supposedly come from. I do not know how accurate it is, but if Benin has put up a statue of her, then of course it is true. A whole country cannot be wrong, right? Especially when you have presidents and historians and all that. Actually, the BBC did a documentary on this particular woman also, and I wanted to throw a little bit of light on her, because listen, if we're not telling our own stories, either people won't tell them, they wouldn't tell them right. And so we have to learn how to tell our own stories. This is to my younger self, trying to play just a little role in this big, expanse. So today we're going to be talking about the Agodjie. Good morning, Philippa. I see you. Seti, it is so good to see you. One of our producers on here, on To My Younger Self. And she also has incredible stories. So over the course of today's session, which is not going to be very long, because like I said, I'll just be reading to you some historical figures. Maybe Satinam can throw in some comments and educate us even more, okay? Again, thank you so much for joining us. Please do me a favor, those of you on YouTube, those of you on Facebook, please share the link so that others can join us, so we can tell incredible stories together. The first person I do want to talk to you about today is Queen Tassie. Her name is Queen Tassie. She is the woman from which the Agodjie supposedly come from. And being who I am, I don't want to just be sitting here kind of reading to you. So I figured I would put it up together, put it on a PDF so we can read it together. And if you have any questions or comments, you can just talk to me about them in the comment section, okay? So let us just jump in, all right? Okay, for some reason I cannot see properly, so I'm going to blow this up a little bit. Alrighty, so we're talking about the Agodjie. And like I did in my introduction, I said, call it mere coincidence or a masterstroke of tourism-focused timing. Earlier this year, when news spread that a 100-foot tall statue of Queen Tassie Hangbe had been erected in the West African nation of Benin, one could almost hear the faint click-clack of calculators adding up the revenue from future travelers inspired to visit after having seen the movie The Woman King. Not much is known about how the Dahomey warriors came to be. However, legend states that they were descendants of Queen Tassie Hangbe, who ruled the Dahomey kingdom in the early 18th century after the sudden death of her twin brother. According to historian Bienvenu Agoha, the first Amazon was Hangbe. Her father was King. Please forgive me. I'm going to be butchering some of these names. I tried, okay? Huebaja, founder of the Dahomey Kingdom, and her twin brother was King Akaba. In 1708, oh my God, Africans, we go way back from the beginning of civilization, okay? In 1708, after the death of her brother Agaba following a long illness, Hangbe was silently installed as the head of the military. And after coming back from her military campaigns, she was publicly proclaimed Queen of Dahomey. But she reigned for only 3 years as she was forcibly removed from the throne by her other brother, Agodjie. Hangbe was all for women during her short but powerful reign. She urged women to engage in farming and go hunting, two activities that were at the time solely for men. And being a fearless warrior who led men and women in battle, she gradually formed an all-women battalion that became known as the Dahomey Amazons. The Amazon warriors were recruited and trained from their earliest childhood, and thanks to their fierce training, they became more efficient warriors than the men at that time. During wars, they were ruthless and could behead their enemies. These gallant female warriors served as royal bodyguards to Hangbe and the kings who came after. King Gezo, who ruled over Dahomey from 1818 to 1858, officially integrated the Amazons into the army. During his reign, the legendary Se Dong Hong Be was the head of the Amazons. The Amazons would bring King Gezo prisoners, and he would deliver those prisoners to a slave merchant from Brazil in exchange for guns, gunpowder, tobacco, and of course, alcohol. Because we always need alcohol. I don't know why. This part of the story kind of peeves me up a little bit, but we're not going to go there. This enabled the Dahomey Kingdom to strengthen its power, according to an article by DW's African Roots. All in all, the Dahomey warriors were respected protectors of their kingdom and strategic leaders. Their drills and military parades were always performed to dancing, music, and songs, and their weapons were sometimes used as choreographic props. As expressed in their songs, their goal was to outshine men in every respect. I have opinions about that. You cannot outshine men in every respect. You know what I mean? And men cannot outshine women in every respect. It's impossible. Like I said, because we all just kind of have our own strengths. It's not possible. But anyway, this is just me telling the story with the bare facts as they are, so I would not inject my own opinions into them, okay? Okay, so as I said, as expressed in their songs, their goal was to outshine men in every respect. And European travelers observed that they were better organized, swifter, and much braver than male soldiers. As such, the king would send them to war as opposed to their male counterparts, and European soldiers would also hesitate to kill them as they were often young women. Now that part, that's very strategic. The women also enjoyed privileged relations with the king, or rather, the king enjoyed relations with these women. You know what I mean? Swearing to celibacy and living in the royal palace, which only the king and his entourage had access to. As a testament to their power, Women servants rang little bells to warn the people of the women soldiers' presence, and inhabitants were required to move aside, bow, and avert their eyes. The Dahomey Women's Army only became defunct when the Dahomey Kingdom fell at the end of the 19th century. According to UNESCO, after 2 months of fighting and previously broken accords between the French and Dahomey, the king of Dahomey at that time, Behanzin, took flight and set fire to most of the royal palaces, marking an end of the kingdom of Dahomey and its army of women in 1892. The Dahomey king was later arrested, deported to Martinique, then Algeria, where he died. The Dahomey then became a French possession between German Togo and British Nigeria until Benin declared independence in 1960. The Dahomey Amazons are today seen as a symbol of female emancipation, but they were largely forgotten until recently when the movie, of course, like I said, Black Panther, highlighted their amazing prowess in war. The descendants of the Amazons also still keep their traditions alive in present-day Benin. Reports say the role of the current Queen Hanwei and her Amazons is largely ceremonial, presiding over religious rituals that take place at the temple near her home in Abomey, the former capital of Dahomey Kingdom and now a city in southern Benin. One of the fun facts that I found out was, of course, the multi-Grammy Award winner Angelique Kidjo is from Benin. Also, Benin's formidable lawyer and 4-time presidential candidate Marie-Elise Bedo did speak to the BBC in a very informative documentary, The Dahomey Warriors of Benin, and how these powerful women, of course, conquered and instilled fear. Another not so fun fact is that in Benin, of course, 70% of women today are victims of domestic violence. Someone might be asking, Zoe, why are you doing this? It's kind of a little, you shouldn't be telling the story in this way. You're putting everything out there. The reason why I'm doing this is for those people who go to see these movies. Sometimes we see the movies with rose-colored glasses because the movie doesn't give you all of the background. These stories don't give you all of the history and the reasons why things came to be the way they were at the time and why we are where we are right now as Africans. So of course I thought today I would take time and kind of just, tell you a little bit of history. Good morning to Ralia. I see you. Good morning. How is Switzerland? Good morning, Doris. Oh, thank you so much. I know you're watching live from school. Please tell everybody in your school we said hello from To My Younger Self. It is so good to see all of you. Here is a statue of Queen Tassie. Look how huge this is. And just look how incredibly beautiful this woman is. And the regality and the power with which she's standing, it just amazes me. I thought I would show you just what an incredible feat the Beninois have done to her or for her. I think that Africans should just begin to acknowledge who our ancestors are and the power with which they ruled and are still ruling. If we're not able to tell our stories from the past, we will never find our way. And this has been the African dilemma. Because we don't know who we are. Most of us don't. And if we don't know who we are, where are we going? Where are we going, right? The world has completed telling most of their stories except for Africa. There is so many stories that can be told. Sans all of the sex and loud shouting and backbiting and betrayal and all of that, we have some incredible stories, and Queen Tassie is one of the people that you want to definitely know about. I don't know that in The Woman King, for example, Queen Tassie was maybe portrayed by Naniska. For those of you who saw The Woman King, I do not know that. So I don't have any information about that. But whoever Queen Tassie is, or whoever Queen Tassie was, she was definitely an incredible woman. And she did some very, very powerful things for Benin and, of course, the Dahomey Kingdom and, of course, the continent of Africa. Here is a closer look. I like the detail of this. You know, some people think that Africans, we kind of just like to swing on trees. And that we don't have the capacity to think for ourselves. But if this statute, if anything to go by, you know this woman was dressed intelligently, okay? She was dressed with thought. She was dressed with acumen and accuracy. And so we tip our hats up to Queen Tassie today, on To My Younger Self. And if she were alive today, I tell you, we would have been trying to get her to be on here to tell us some very deep personal stories. So here's a challenge for you. For those of you who are historians, in fact, it's a challenge for me. This is something I definitely want to do. I want to be able to find people who can tell me about Queen Tassie so we can tell even more stories about her. Okay? So that is the first person I wanted to talk to you about today. The next person I'm going to be talking to you about comes to us from Ghana. There's two Ghanaian women that I would like to talk to you about. Good morning, big sis Elsie. I see you. How is Canada? Thank you so much for joining us. Again, guys, please go into the comment section and just tell me what you think about what you just heard, or maybe you read along with me. So yes, and for those of you joining us on YouTube, I ask you to please just share. Where is everybody today? There's only like 4 people watching. What's going on? I am not excited about the numbers today at all, but we keep pushing no matter who is in the room, okay? So today, who are we talking about next? We're going to be talking about a lady whose name is Melody Millicent Dankwa, okay? And you'll know why in a minute. You'll know why in a minute. And I'll read about her to you. So Melody Millicent Dankwa was born in Latte in Ikuapem, Ghana on 6th January 1937. She passed away on the 18th of March 2016. Oof, God bless her. She lived long. The reason why I like this thing that we're doing is we're not just going deep down into history. We're bringing it also very close to home, okay? She was a pilot and theologian. She was the first female pilot in Ghana as well as a sub-Saharan African. She was among the first women enlisted into the Ghana Air Force as pilots in 1963 under Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's regime. On 22nd June 1964, let me tell you, all good things happen in June. Every good thing happens in June. She flew a solo for the first time in a de Havilland Canada DHC-1 Chipmunk aircraft, becoming the first Ghanaian to fly an airplane solo. Oh my goodness. Can you believe that? We tip our hats off to you, Melody Millicent. What an incredible woman. In October 1964, she became the only student pilot allowed some 10 minutes of solo flying time during the Air Force Day organized in Takoradi, where she ended with a spotless landing to the admiration of many, including Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. She became a certified pilot on 15th April 1965. After her retirement, she received a Long Service Award and the Efficiency Medal in 1984. In 1997, at age 60, she obtained her diploma in Bible Studies and Theology and began preaching the gospel within the military circles. She was honored with the Companion of the Order of the Vulture in 2006 for being a courageous pace setter. My goodness. Again, where are the storytellers? I am kind of just touching on these incredible people so that the storytellers of Africa can tell stories. I think a film made about this incredible woman would suffice. People want to hear about these stories. For any woman in today's dispensation, even today, who is probably in study, trying to be a lawyer, trying to be a pilot, trying to be something that was supposedly predominantly only done by men, this woman should be an inspiration to you. We tip our hats off to Millicent today. We thank you for your service. And even though you're past and gone, I know your children are still alive and well. Your grandkids are alive and well. Your family members are alive and well. If any of them happens upon this particular piece, we thank you. We thank you. We thank you. And again, for storytellers out there, get together, this is me dreaming, form a script writing, I don't know, ideation theme, and start thinking about these stories. I think it's important. Yes, maybe money's not in the world right now, but stories will always live on. You know what I mean? Alrighty, so we're gonna jump on to the next woman, also from Ghana. I may be biased to Ghana a little bit. I wonder why. I wonder why. Hi, Lady Juliet. It is so good to see you. Today, I am flying solo and I am just telling stories about great Africans that once lived. Okay, these are stories that are normally not heard. These are stories that are not on big screens. These are people who did incredible things and were never really acknowledged. And I thought, hey, we have an opening slot. Why not? Zoe likes to talk, so she's going to come in and just kind of talk. So welcome, Lady Juliet. It is so good to see you. The next lady I'm going to be talking to you about today is Grace Salome Kwame. She was born in 1923 and she passed away in 2006. So Grace Salome Kwame was undoubtedly a forerunner of modern art in the colonial Gold Coast, now Ghana. Can you believe that? These people lived in Africa and they did mind-blowing things. What that tells me is it doesn't matter where you are geographically. If you put your mind to a thing, no matter what it looks like, even when they say the opportunities are not there, if you want to do something, you will find a way. Like that saying goes, wherever there's a will, there is a way. Something has got to give, and Grace definitely did that. Grace Salome Abrakwame was born at Wara Wara, Ghana in 1923. Grace Kwame's love for clay revealed itself in her early childhood when she was able to model all sorts of fruits and vegetables at the age of 4. Now think about that. She was born in 1923. This means this was probably happening by 1927 in Gold Coast. Not even Ghana. This is Gold Coast. Again, I'm not going to go on a rant. I'm just going to read so you can make an informed decision for yourself. She attended the Women Teachers Training College of the Basel Mission at Agogo. Oh, I love the word Agogo. And taught art and craft after she gained a teacher certificate A from the training college. In 1951, Grace entered the Kumasi College of Art, now Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, KNUST, and later on worked at the National Museum, Accra, as an artist and sculptor from 1954 to 1957. This means that even then, we had not gained independence yet, and segregation was very much alive then. When I say segregation, most Ghanaians know where they still had Caucasians here and Ghanaians there, and this is not for Ghanaians and that's for Ghanaians. We saw it happen in apartheid South Africa. We saw it happen even here in the United States. So it's not a new word. It happened in Ghana too, okay? So, but this woman was still thriving even in those circumstances. That's something incredible. She was among the first women to undertake an academic training in fine art. She's my hero. I love this woman, which presaged her lifelong professional career in the teaching and making of art. In the absence of female role models, she shaped a practice characterized by a strong domestic sense, maternal sensitivity, and local affinities. She was an intuitive rather than reflective feminist. I like that. I think it's better to be an intuitive feminist because then it allows you to realize that there are some things, no matter who you are as a woman, you just can't do it. Only men can, and vice versa, right? She was involved with the Sankofa art movement. Anyone remember the Sankofa art movement? I mean, I think it's still alive and thriving right now. But she was involved in it. She probably is one of the founders, okay? A group made up of various artists, including names as Kofi Antubam. I don't know if anyone knows Kofi Antubam. Oku Ampofo, I don't know that guy. Vincent Kofi and Theodosia Oko, as well as politicians who saw art as a tool for expressing the nation's identity, beliefs, and statehood. So, as I just mentioned these names, Kofi Antubam and Vincent Kofi, these again, this is opportunity for incredible storytelling in Africa. Can you imagine if every filmmaker in Africa, yes, the arts are strong, but if we all just decided to take one name and tell an incredible story about them and put them on film? I'm just an advocate, so, Grace Salome Abrakwame made a series of drawings in pen and ink on paper, bas relief, and ceramic sculpture with overtones of Ghanaian customs. She also drew and sculpted figures, some life-sized, did printmaking, designed textiles, and created sculptures from natural materials such as gods. My goodness. The year 2022, of course, is an opportune time to recover her story because it resonates so clearly with three topical moments: the resurgence of figurative imagery, especially Black figuration, the recovery of independence-era African art. We all saw what happened when the Queen of England passed away. So many things Africans began to claim and lay hold on the, on the crown because kind of did belong to us. Oh God. Of course, and the heightened inclusion of clay and ceramic art forms in contemporary art, as seen, for example, for those of you who were able to attend the Biennale Art in this 2022, I know you definitely saw that. My good friend Ibrahim Mahama, I know you were there, just in case you happen to, kind of see this show. You can tell us a little bit about it one day. The Milk of Dreams, the 59th International Exhibition in Venice. Her work is in public and private collections, including the National Museum of Ghana, Accra, the Volta Regional Museum, Ho, GMMB, Europe, and of course, good old United States of America. So Grace has not been lost to us. I'm going to share some of her art with you. Look at this. Look what Grace did. This piece she titled Malam. And she probably did this piece, in the 1950s. Look how detailed this is. I wonder how much art like this would be going for in today's currencies. But if she did this back then with just clay and dirt and however she found her colors, I don't even know. But look at this incredible thing. Just look at it. Grace did that. Why can't we tell her story? Right? Here's another one of Grace Salome's work. Just look at that. You cannot tell me art and inquisitiveness and originality and creativity cannot thrive in Africa. It can. It really can. So yes, I've told you a little bit about Grace Salome Kwame. Listen, if you know about anybody that you want to kind of just know a little bit more about, or you want to research a little deeper, we're just kind of throwing these ideas out there so that more stories can come out of Africa. It is my passion. It is my dream. The dream is big. I want a huge studio somewhere out in the outskirts of Burkina Faso where we're making movies about these people, personal stories like this, okay? If you've seen Martin Luther King, I mean, they've probably done at least 3 different renditions of his story. Ali Mohammed has the same. All these incredible people have different filmmakers telling their story from different angles. So not only you don't need one person telling Grace's story. 5 people can tell Grace's story. Someone can tell Grace's story as a married woman. Someone can tell Grace's story as an artist. Someone can tell her story as a national monument, and so on and so forth. Okay? Kofi, it is so good to see you, my dear. How is Ontario this morning? It is, I'm sure it's probably very cold, right? Because it's very cold here today. The next person I'm going to talk about, like I said, today's show is, it's different. So roll with me. But this woman that I'm about to talk to you about is my absolute favorite person to talk about. Coming to us from out of Burkina Faso. And for those of you who know Zoe just a little better, you know why I'm excited about talking about Burkina Faso. And if I ever made a film that goes deep down in history, like, you know, Queen Tassie and the Dahomey Queens, or that becomes very big, like the Black Panther and the Woman King, it would be about this woman. And so I'm throwing it out there to the universe, right? This next person I want to talk to you about, drum roll. Can somebody guess? Please guess. It's coming from out of Burkina Faso. Can you guess? All right, nobody's guessing, so I'm going to just go with it. It is Yaninga. I am so in love with this woman. Sometimes I think I channel her a little bit because she loved horses. And I love horses. So of course, you know, Yaninga is my girl. She's my girl. So I'm gonna read about Yaninga to you. A lot of research on her, and it's probably gonna be a lot more detailed than the last 3 people because I put my soul into this one. Not that I didn't put soul into the other 3, except when you're excited about something, you kind of just do more, you know. So Yaninga is my favorite, absolute favorite African woman in the past. And so yeah, here we go. Yaninga, an emblematic figure in Burkina Faso, is the mother of Ouedraogo, the first Morga, chieftain and founder of the dynasties of the Moshi chieftains. She is thought to have lived between the 14th and 15th centuries. Oh, I wish I could have met her. Yaninga was the daughter of the king of Gambaga. For those of you in Ghana or from Ghana, you know where Gambaga is, right? And you know the history of Gambaga. So yeah, an area in the northern part of the present-day Republic of Ghana. Her father raised her to be a skilled hunter and fighter. She was beautiful. Her name, Yaninga, means the slim, referring to her beauty, and became a cultural icon. A woman with a strong character and an independent mind, and beloved princess who from the age of 14 fought in battle for her father against the neighboring Malinkes. Skilled with javelins, spears, and bows, she was an excellent horsewoman. Yes! Excellent horsewoman, and commanded her own battalion. Yaninga was such an important fighter that when she reached a marriageable age, her father refused to choose a husband for her or allow her to marry. To express her unhappiness to her father, Yaninga planted a field of wheat. When the crop grew, she let it rot. She explained to her father that that was how she felt, being unable to marry. Nedega failed to be moved by this gesture and locked his daughter up. By the way, Nedega is her father's name. One of the king's horsemen helped Yanenga, disguised as a man, escape on her stallion. Attacked by Malinkes, her companion was killed and Yanenga was left alone. She continued to ride north. One night, when she was exhausted from crossing a river, Yanenga's stallion took her into a forest. She met and befriended a solitary elephant hunter called Riale. When he saw through Yanenga's disguise, of course they fell in love. Any wonder this is one of my favorite stories? They fell in love. Yanenga and Riale had a son they named Wadrago, which means stallion, and is now a common name in Burkina Faso. Wadrago visited his grandfather, King Nadega, who had been searching for Princess Yanenga over the years. Wadrago and his sons founded the prestigious centuries-old lineage of the Moshi chieftains. Their descendants still to this day embody political power among the Moshi in Burkina Faso. Yanenga has become a legendary figure and a national emblem in the country, a personification of the female warrior and the independent woman. She is often portrayed defiantly on horseback as if nothing, neither society, tradition, nor paternal authority could stand in the way of her freedom of spirit. Yanenga is considered by the Moshi to be the mother of their empire, and many statues of her can be found, of course, in the capital city of Burkina Faso, Ouagadougou. Ouagadougou. For anybody that was in NAFTI with me, which is the National Film and Television Institute with me, when I was in school there, you would understand the word Ouagasaga when we used to go to Burkina Faso. A statue of a golden stallion called the Etalon de Yanenga is awarded as the first prize in the biennial Pan-African Film and Television Festival of Ouagadougou, which is the FESPACO. I myself have had the pleasure of going to FESPACO at least 2 times, and my goodness, I think it's one of my favorite places on earth. Around that time, just going to FESPACO every 2 years. Oh my goodness, you just got to meet incredible people from all around the world for a whole week. I'm getting emotional because you saw everything. I learned how to play the xylophone. It was little itty bitty xylophones and you got to play on them. It was one of the first countries where I saw Mercedes Benzes used as taxis. It was incredible to me, like, oh my God, these people, and they just knew how to enjoy life. Burkinabés are incredible people. Anyway, I'm not gonna I'll just, I'll stop. The national football team is nicknamed Les Italiens or Les Italiens, the Stallions, in reference to Yanenga stallion. Since 2017, a project of a new city is in progress near Ouagadougou and will be called Yanenga. Fun fact, Moshi is the plural of Morga in Mori, one of the main languages spoken in Burkina Faso. Moshi people account for a large part of the population in the country today. And of course, yours truly has a lot of her roots in Burkina Faso, by marriage and also just by heritage, because my mom's people did come from Burkina Faso, which makes sense. If you see all my uncles, they're like stallions. They're tall and regal and, just incredible looking. We are the Moshi people. And that is why Yanenga is very, very close, very, very dear to my heart. And let's see, I think I had a few kind of portrayals or depictions of Yanenga here. Let's see. There it is. Look at that stallion. And just look at and I know she probably didn't look anything like this. Nobody really knows what she looked like because of record keeping, I guess. But whoever drew this, I think did her justice. She just was a fierce woman, and I really loved the opportunity to tell her story one day, very, very soon. Here's another depiction of Yaninga with her spear, I think her bow and arrow, and also her javelins. When I saw the haircut, I said, no wonder I went, side shaving. It was probably this ancestor of mine drawing me in. You know what I mean? Just fierce, fierce, fierce. Yes, Lady Juliet, you are absolutely right. Fierce, fierce painting. And that kind of brings me to the end of today's To My Younger Self. I don't know exactly what I'm telling my younger self today. Like I said, we're kind of just rolling with the punches. There's a lot going on in the background of me that I can't necessarily talk about right now, but there's a lot going on. So today I just thought we'll take a chill pill and kind of educate ourselves, and talk about people from our past. If there's anything I would tell my younger self, it would be to pay attention to the decisions I am making. That's what I would tell my younger self. And if I was paying attention, I would probably be making the Yaninga movie by now. Because that woman has lived in my heart even without my knowledge for a very, very, very long time. I bumped into her because my Uncle Yidana, told me about her about a year and a half ago. But looking back, her name has always floated around me, but I wasn't paying attention. So what I would tell my younger self is pay attention. Pay attention. What would you tell your younger self? I know most of you are very involved in your callings in life. My calling as a filmmaker would be to not just let any story slip by me just because in my mind it didn't seem powerful enough. Every story counts. And yes, Sadie, you're absolutely right. Just powerful women, resilient, strength, and courage. So for all of the women that are watching today, what would you tell your younger self based on these stories you have heard? You've heard these, you've seen these women go through incredible challenges. In some ways, I'm talking to myself, because when you think about Queen Tassie, and you think about Grace Salome, and you think about Millicent, Melody, they did not have it easy. They didn't have technology. They didn't have, itty bitty little phones like this that they could just call someone and ask for advice. They didn't have a lot of the amenities that we have right now. And yet they mounted up some incredible campaigns with their lives. Some became pilots, some became artists, some became warriors and trained other warriors that now Hollywood is talking about. I guess what I would also tell you is, and I'm telling myself this, no matter what you're going through, it is not insurmountable. I'm drawing my strength from these women and many, many, many others. I'm drawing strength from these people. Not only women, I mean, think of Kwame Nkrumah, think of Sankara, think of, I'm thinking about the guy from Kenya. But there's just so many people who went through incredible things. In Chinua Achebe, all of them, they lived to tell a story, and they told the story very well. So pay attention, pay close attention to what's happening in your life. These women went through shifts, and when shifts happen, move with it. There's a saying that the only thing that is stronger than a rock is a river because of its persistence. And if pain has touched a river once, it cannot touch it twice, because you cannot touch the same water twice. It's impossible, right? So I guess today I just came to talk to you and tell you about these stories. And that's it for me. if you left me, I would talk about so many other people that I know their stories about in Africa. I'm really, really looking forward to when we have. Sis, you're speaking to all of us women. Yes, yes, I am. And I'm not leaving the men out because, when you think about King Gezo, for example, in Queen Tassie's story, when you think about Riella in Yanenga's story, and I'm sure Grace Salome had a lot of other men that were pushing her through, and I'm sure when you think about Kwame Nkrumah in Melody Millicent's story, there were men standing behind these women, not pulling them down, but actually pushing them to go forward. And those men, I acknowledge and I tip my hat off to them. They did incredible. And so if you're a woman out here and there's a man by you that is pushing your dream, helping you get to the top, don't take it for granted. Don't think you're too big for anyone to help you. They were meant to help you, not because you're special, because they too are telling their stories by helping you. You know what I mean? So we're not leaving the men out, and I don't know why all of these stories just kind of happen to be about women as I was doing the research, but this is it. And so for every woman out there, stay persistent. No matter what's going on, just keep moving. And if you can't do anything at all, keep smiling. It helps. Okay? Alrighty. Beverly says what? Yes, words of wisdom. Pay attention to what you do and say. Listen, guys, I know today's show was a little, because everyone comes here looking for another person's story, not to listen to Zoe talking 50 minutes in. It's crazy, right? But this is where we are. So that's what we're going to do. Next week, though, we're going to have a guest who is going to be telling us personal stories, as always. We're going to be having Eugenia Techimenson here, and she's just going to share personal stories with us. I'm very excited about that. I cannot wait to hear her stories. So yes, 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 yes. Just kind of spread the word. We'll put out some information about her coming. You see some flyers and all that great stuff. This week it was just me. As always, in the same vein as we just talked about these incredible Africans or African women and their stories, the only way we can keep this vibe going is if we're supporting each other, is if we're kind of saying, I was telling my friend the other day, I went to a supermarket and I wanted to do a bencoin. For those of you who know what a bencoin is. And I saw 2 cans on the shelf. I picked one up and I looked around it. I couldn't tell where it was made. I didn't know, because it was a Spanish shop, so I wasn't sure. But the other one said very boldly on it, made in Ghana. And for all intents and purposes, when I brought it home and made the soup, it was nasty. Because the pulp itself was disgusting. It was just not good. But the point is this, it was made in Ghana. And so I bought it anyway. Of course, when I was buying it, I didn't know it was bad. But I still made it. When I, opened the can and I realized how terrible it was, I didn't throw it out. I used it. And the soup didn't come out that great, but I still used it. Why? Because it was made in Ghana. Let us learn to stay fiercely loyal to us. You know what I mean? I think it's very important that we learn to stay fiercely loyal to us. For any African American that is watching, I mean you too, because when we go deep, deep, deep down in history somewhere, we all come from the same place. Okay? And yes, Sedi, you're right. It probably had been on the shelf longer than it should have. And there was no expiration date on it. And so, it was a lot. But let us support made in Africa things, not made in Ghana, made in Africa things. And let us support people who are doing incredible things from out of Africa or from the diaspora going into Africa. In that vein, I will tell you to please support Where Ghana. Where Ghana is 9 years old today. Yay! Congratulations, Abna and your team. It is so incredible to see you guys grow. I know Abna went through a few things this week, just trying to get from Addis Ababa to Ghana. And I think it was in Egypt. Something happened with her air transfer or her air travel. I mean, Abna, I am so sorry you had to go through that, but God raised a village for you, and I know you're home and you're doing well. Congratulations to Where Ghana on your 9th anniversary. It is incredible. Go on and keep growing, okay? And we'll keep supporting from wherever we are. Humanity Chats by Margie Marge, my big sister Margie Marge, who is doing incredible things herself out of the United States every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. You want to jump on Humanity Chats page, both on YouTube and Facebook, and hear her interview people from all walks of life. So you know how To My Younger Self is catered to African storytellers and storytelling. Marge speaks to people all around the world. This is the difference of the shows and why we can, I mean, even if she was doing the same thing as To My Younger Self, or if I was doing the same thing as her, there is no reason why we can't support each other. There is, as she always says, enough room at the top for every single one of us. So please check Margie Marge out. Kua Designs by the very, very beautiful Ruby. She's doing incredible things, Kua, from out of Ghana. Please, please look her up. Christmas is coming, is right around the corner. You want some beautiful gifts at affordable prices for your loved ones. Of course, R&D Collections by Rachel Dodu. Definitely here in Gastonia, you want to patronize Rachel. I'm patronizing her. Well, somebody helped me by getting me a couple of things from her store, and I'm hooked. So definitely, Rachel Dodu, you want to patronize her. Music for Your Quality Feet by our good old Uncle Eko Fisho and his team. You definitely want to reach out to Music for Your Quality Feet every Sunday at 4 p.m. No matter what you're going through, you will end up lighthearted on Sunday evenings because of the good music, incredible fun, and just banter and dancing and laughter. It's so great. So you want to patronize Music for Your Quality Feet. Ryle by Designs from Nyack, New York. You do want to patronize her. Avonzige Bridal for those of you who are getting married or you're looking for formal wear. Let me tell you, this girl, she's coming on To My Younger Self very soon, and you'll get to see some of her designs. It would blow your mind. You will be mind blown. Keys and Credo by Nana Sapon. Nana Sapon also comes to us from the camp of Music for Your Quality Feet. So sometimes when I'm talking about Music for Your Quality Feet, I automatically think I've talked about Nana Sapon. But he himself is doing incredible things, not only with his designs, but also with his travel and tourism, kind of business. He knows how to just take people to Ghana and show them a good time. The same thing is being done by the girl with the red hair, our very own Nweki, who is also an incredible, I think, I don't want to use the word tourist guide, but essentially that's what they both do. So if you want to go to Ghana, especially if you've never been to Ghana, you want to reach out to Nweki and you want to reach out to Keys and Credo. Of course, our big brother Nana Redamwa is doing incredible things with Book Nuke. And actually this year, what he has sorted to do is to send 100 books to 16 schools all across Ghana. And it is underway. I forgot to put up that information, but for those of you who definitely want to donate or, sponsor a school, or even if the school you want to sponsor is not on their list, I know they will accommodate you. All you have to do is send them your donation and say, send this amount of books to this school in this part of Ghana, and you can consider it done. Okay, so that's what Big Brother Nana Redamwa is doing. For those of you, if I didn't mention your name, please, it is not out of slight. This is us just kind of supporting each other. I want to say a big thank you to everyone who has donated to My Younger Self. It's It's been a very stormy, I can't tell you how stormy it's been on the To My Younger Self camp. Sometimes it takes all of my strength and all of my mental acuity to wake up and make up, put a smile on my face, and sit here. And so for everyone that's been donating, for everyone that's, sending us a word of encouragement, a knowing smile, just anyone that's helping us in one way or another. Thank you. There's so many of you in the village, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Of course, a big thank you to Auntie Esther Odampton, Rose Machayo Ropa, Jane Fiorito, Mr. EKD, and of course, Araba. Thank you guys for your constant prayer and constant donation. It's like clockwork, and we do not take it for granted. You have helped us go through some things you will never know about, but one day those stories will be told. Guys, I didn't think I could do it, but apparently I can. I can talk uninterrupted for 1 hour with no breaks. Oh my God. Well, I guess that's my talent. So, it's been great. My name is ZoeBaraka. I'm going to sign off now. And please, please, please join us again next week. Tell your friends to just join us, okay? It's okay to be in a dry season. It always gets watered back down, okay? Alrighty. My love to you and to your family. Enjoy your week. Remember to stay sharp and be attentive. My name is ZoeBaraka. It's always love. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Israel, Ethiopia, Sudan, So Timbuktu, Ghana, Mali, Sumanguru, what you're shown. What you're shown. So Timbuktu, Ghana, Mali, Sumanguru, what you're shown. Manchester, Sumanguru, walk where you get, what you're shown. What's that to do,